Have you ever looked at your calendar on a Monday morning and just felt this wave of
Oh,
exhaustion?
yeah, that calendar sadness.
Exactly. You see a day just packed with, unproductive discovery calls or meetings that feel like they're just generating noise, not real impact.
It's that feeling of constant exhaustion. You're scattering your energy, making all this noise, but you're not making money or really making a difference.
Yeah.
And you might have what the source material calls a profound, world-changing message, something you've worked years to perfect. But if you deliver it to the wrong crowd,
It just falls flat.
it falls on deaf ears.
Mm.
People who can't afford you or don't care right now, and this is a big one, who just drain the life out of you, that message is just wasted.
Absolutely. And the research we dove into this week gives a really clear and essential shortcut to stop that from happening. It says we have to figure out the who,
The who first.
the exact person, before we design the brand, write the speech, launch the website. So our mission today is to crack the code on this formula for finding your most lucrative client, the MLC.
And we should probably pause on that term, most lucrative client,
Yeah,
because it sounds, well, it sounds purely transactional, doesn't it?
a little bit, yeah.
But it's actually about sustainability. It's
Yeah.
about an impact. If your business isn't anchored by clients who genuinely sustain you, both financially and emotionally, you just won't be around long enough to help anyone. The MLC is really the key to longevity.
And that ties right into this powerful analogy they use in the research, is this idea that we have to stop trying to be everyone's cup of tea. Because when you try to be that broadly appealing, you just end up tasting like lukewarm water. Instead, you need to be something really specific, something intense, like a flaming shot of tequila.
That's it. That tequila shot is not for everyone. Not at all. It's for a very specific, probably small group of people who are absolutely ready for that intensity. They want that exact experience.
And when you define yourself that sharply, you stop getting the lukewarm audience and you start drawing in the real enthusiasts.
That's right. This whole concept of finding the who first is just.
Yeah.
It's foundational. And the sources show this goes way back. I mean, the legendary direct marketer Dan Kennedy,
The guy who basically invented modern persuasive copywriting.
that's the one. He said it flat out decades ago. The who is the most important thing we do.
And what's so interesting is how that idea hasn't aged at all. It just keeps popping up. You see it with, more modern gurus like Seth Godin.
Right, with his smallest viable audience.
Yeah, or you see similar ideas with people like Dan Sullivan and Dr. Ben Hardy, who talk about finding your super who.
The consensus is just overwhelming. It's crystal clear. If you are foggy on who you serve, you are absolutely doomed to be fuzzy on what you deliver, how you price it, and where you even find them.
But the research makes a really crucial distinction here. The MLC, it is not just your generic ideal client or target audience. We tend to define those with these flowery terms. Visionary female entrepreneurs who love transformation, yoga, and lattes.
Right, it sets a vibe, but it's not a target.
It's aiming in a general direction. It is not hitting a bullseye.
And that brings us to the key visual the material uses, an archery target. So picture your entire market laid out on that target.
Yeah.
You can, of course, help people in all the outer rings. They're good clients. They pay their bills.
Sure.
But and the sources are so insistent on this. Your entire business, your sanity, your bank account, it's all built on the dead center bullseye. That is your MLC.
And here's the part that I found really interesting. It's this paradox they point out. When you aim everything, every social post, every speech, all your website copy with laser precision right at that bullseye,
You end up hitting the outer rings anyway.
you attract plenty of great people from those outer rings. But the inverse is not true. You can't aim for the outer rings and just accidentally hit the center.
So precision is everything.
Okay.
And how do we find that precise point? Well, we use what the source calls the most lucrative client math.
Right.
It's a simple four-part formula. But here's the catch. The client group has to score a perfect 5 out of 5 on all 4 criteria to qualify as that bullseye MLC.
All right, let's unpack this math. The formula starts with 2 filters that are purely about the money. We begin with the most objective part, the one that's, non-negotiable for just staying in business, ATP.
Ability to pay. And the research is adamant about this. This criterion always comes first. If the score here is low, the rest of the formula doesn't matter. The math stops.
It's all about sustainability.
Completely. You can't serve anyone effectively. Not pro bono cases, not your family, nobody, if you can't pay your bills and keep your organization healthy.
But the nuance here is so important because it's not just are they rich or does their company have a huge revenue? It's more specific.
Precisely. The real question is twofold. One, do they have a budget allocated for you? And two, are they prepared to pay premium prices to solve this specific problem?
Okay, give me an example.
Okay, so a company might have a $5 million marketing budget. Huge ATP on paper. But if they believe that what you do, say brand strategy, should be handled by an intern for free, then for you, they have zero ATP.
Got it. They don't have a budget line item for your specific solution.
Exactly. Or if you're selling high-end coaching to, say, recent college grads, they might be desperate for your help, but they have zero ability to pay. The math just fails right there.
So ATP is the fuel in the tank.
It is. But fuel, just sitting there, does nothing. You need the motivation to act now. And that brings us to the spark that ignites the fuel, ETP.
Eagerness to pay.
Yes. This measures urgency. It's the difference maker. A client might have high ATP, tons of money, but if your offer is just a nice to have, a someday maybe, or a vitamin, they're not your MLC.
This is the my hair is on fire problem.
That's the perfect way to put it. If their hair is not actively on fire, they are not your bullseye client. Your solution has to be seen as a life-saving painkiller, a must-have, and I need this yesterday.
And you can see signs of this, right? The research points to behaviors.
Absolutely. Are they already searching for information on this? Have they tried and failed with cheaper solutions? Are they running around looking for a fire extinguisher, or are you trying to sell them a nice hat?
That immediately shifts the entire job of selling, doesn't it? It's not about convincing people to buy a vitamin.
It's not. Your job is not to convince people to care. Your job is to find the people who already care desperately and are actively searching for the solution you have. ATP is the money, ETP is the motivation. You need both.
Okay, so we've got the money filters down, ATP and ETP. Now we move from the wallet to, well, to the things that determine if you'll still be sane a year from now.
And that brings us to the third piece of the puzzle. MBQ, the mind-blown quotient.
Which they also call the fun for you factor, or FFY.
Right, and this is maybe the most important one for preventing that calendar sadness we talked about at the start.
But hold on, isn't this one the most subjective? How do we stop MBQ from just being a list of people we personally like versus clients who actually, drive the best results?
That is a great question, and the research is really clear about this. MBQ isn't about their personality. It's about the quality of the work and the implementation rate.
Okay.
So if working with a client group makes you want to, as they say, fake your own death and move to Belize, they are not your MLC. I don't care how high their ATP or ETP is.
So how do you define a high MBQ client then?
They're the clients who blow your mind. They're smart, they're on the cutting edge, they implement what you tell them to do, they get incredible results, and, this is critical, they make you smarter just by being in the room with them.
They energize you.
They energize and inspire you. The opposite is what you'd call the energy vampire. The high-cost client who second-guesses everything, takes 2 weeks to answer an email, needs constant hand-holding.
They drain you.
They drain your most valuable assets, your energy, your time, and your focus. So MBQ ensures your work is actually sustainable and enjoyable. It's the direct antidote to that calendar sadness.
So it's about efficiency and quality of life. Okay, that makes sense. Let's get to the final piece, the purely practical one, ETF.
Easy to find, locate, or identify. This one brings us right back to the haystack problem.
Right. You can't be searching for needles in a continent-sized haystack.
No matter how golden that needle is, if you have a client group that scores high on ATP, ETP, and MBQ, but you can't practically locate them and get in front of them consistently, the math fails. You don't have a business.
It seems so counterintuitive, though, that a wealthy, desperate, brilliant client is useless if they're invisible.
But it's all about marketing feasibility. You have to be able to identify specific rooms, digital, physical, whatever, where this group is already gathered.
So you're looking for platforms, associations, conferences.
Exactly. Someone else has already done the hard work of gathering them for you.
Give us a contrast. A findable versus an unfindable group.
Okay, a findable MLC. Agency owners with 5 to 200 employees, you can find them all on LinkedIn. They belong to specific associations. You can target them with an ad very efficiently.
Right.
An unfindable MLC. People who are thinking about starting a business but haven't told anyone yet.
Impossible.
Virtually. Because they're defined by a private state of mind. not a visible, locatable identity.
And the bottom line here, according to the source material, is pretty stark.
It is. If you can't find your audience efficiently, you don't have a business. You have an expensive hobby that runs on random luck.
Okay, let's pull this all together because it really does flip the whole traditional marketing funnel upside down.
Yeah.
We have the full MLC math. ATP, do they have the budget for your solution?
Plus ETP, they want to solve now, is a painkiller.
Plus MBQ, do they energize you and actually implement your advice?
And finally, ETF, you find them grouped together in a specific room or platform.
And the goal is precision, not volume.
It's all precision. By aiming everything, every single post, every speech, directly at that bullseye client who scores 5 out of 5 on all 4, you just gain massive efficiency. And critically, you gain sustainability.
Knowing who you're talking to dictates what you need to say to them.
Exactly. You stop wasting all that time and energy chasing the outer rings, where the effort is huge and the reward is small. You focus all your resources on the one specific group that will drive your business forward.
And most importantly, prevent that energy-sapping calendar sadness.
And that leads us to our final thought for you to take away from this. The research suggests something really profound. If you currently believe that people won't pay for what you do, you're either talking to the wrong people or you're talking to people about the wrong thing.
So based on the 4 MLC criteria we just discussed, ATP, ETP, MBQ, and ETF, we want you to look at your current client list. Which one of your client groups, if any, is failing the math the hardest right now? Maybe they're high ETP, but just a terrible MBQ, or high ETP, but impossible to find. What's the one immediate step you can take today to eliminate them as a viable, most lucrative client and free up your energy to focus only on the bullseye? It's a tough question, but it's essential for your growth and your sanity.